First in our news, Nelson Mandela International Day is an annual international day in honor of the South African leader, as officially declared by the UN in November of 2009. Annually, the world celebrated the contribution of the former president of South Africa, who has remained the leader of the anti-apartheid movement, civil rights advocate, who dedicated his life to fighting for human rights. And this year's UN theme is "Do what you can with what you have and where you are." And we were able to talk to Her Excellency Tina Radebe-Netshitenzhe, South Africa's ambassador to the Philippines. Let's listen in. This year marks the 104th birth anniversary of Nelson Mandela. UN Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez described Mandela as a leader of unparalleled courage and towering achievement, and a man of quiet dignity and deep humanity. Nelson Mandela International Day is an annual international day in honor of the South African leader, as officially declared by the UN in November of 2009. Now, the Mandela Day campaign encourages people to devote 67 minutes of their time to support a chosen charity or serve in local communities. The 67 minutes represent the number of years the former president fought for human rights and the abolition of the apartheid. Right? So could you share with us the legacy Nelson Mandela and how the legacy of Nelson Mandela and how it relates significantly to current times?
Okay. I must say the celebration of Nelson Mandela International Day recognizes and gives credence to the former president's commitment to human rights, conflict resolution, reconciliation. Former President Nelson Mandela represents humanity, dialogue, sacrifice, and all other noble ideas that could help shape global understanding of complex issues. These issues are of global significance and can contribute to peace, development, eradication of poverty, and in particular, protection of women, children, and the destitute. As per the United Nations report on developmental index, there are many people more than before who are destitute, more vulnerable, and high levels of poverty are being observed, diseases, etc. The advent of COVID-19 merely projected the situation and exposed the ever-growing gap between that have and that have not. And a typical example is access to vaccine that comes to mind. Secondly, while most economies, in particular the hard-hit developing and poor countries, emerged from the pandemic, the world witnessed the new emergence of crisis due to conflict between Russia and Ukraine, which exacerbated poverty and diverted attention to issues of poverty. So Russia, combined with Ukraine, are the biggest exporter of fertilizers, wheat, corn, let alone oil and gas. All these are essential goods that we need for our daily survival around the globe. In answering your question, I would say Nelson Mandela International Day resonates well with dealing with poverty, inequalities, and hunger. Under the 2022 Nelson Mandela theme, do what you can with what you have, wherever you are. And honestly, the world needs to deal with all outstanding conflict consistently in order to ensure sustainable, equitable, and just society. It is important to look at issues beyond national interest, but broadly, as the pandemic and conflicts has affected all of us, we are all interconnected. What happens in the northern hemisphere and anywhere in the world has trickle effect for everyone around the globe. The rising cost of living, compounded by crippling inflation, high energy costs, looming recession, even developed countries not spared, food shortages, etc. We need more than ever to focus on climate change issues, which on its own has a dire consequences, in particular the agricultural sector, which is the backbone of any economy. Therefore, cooperation in all aspects is a natural need across all nations. I think I've answered. Thank you.
That's true. You mentioned do what you can with what you have wherever you are. That is the message of this year's celebration. How do we honor his contribution, leadership and freedom in these topsy turvy times, these extraordinary times where basic freedoms are again being challenged all over the world?
For instance, it's very important that people really resonate very well with the messages of Nelson Mandela. I've explained before, I said he represents humanity. But he's also a person, if you were to look at South Africa, he's a gender activist. He has espoused to supporting children, as we know that in most people who are vulnerable are children, the women empowerment, the education, which is also critical to the Mandelas, what espoused in. He's also, his message espoused to human rights and democracy. As we look at the South African Constitution, you will see all those elements are espoused in our Constitution, because our Constitution and Nelson Mandela remain a symbol of our consciousness, of our understanding of the global complex issues as we experience now. So it's important that whatever happens, conflict can be resolved. As we all know, South Africa was also a colonialized country, that many people think it was a miracle that two people who have colonized each other and fought each other in the battle and killed each other could sit around the table and resolve their issues. But it was important because it was not about Nelson Mandela, it was not important about people, it was important not about the country, it was important about the national interest of all the South Africans sitting around the table, so that we can be able to resolve issues that people thought were so difficult. But with Nelson Mandela, we're able to achieve those. So indeed, as I said he represents what the world today requires. His noble ideas are more important than before now.
That's true. And the embassy has also aligned Your Excellency, the embassy has aligned the activities of its partnership with Project Pearls, with the work of the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Could you discuss how the embassy and the Nelson Mandela Foundation is achieving its targets for helping the poorest of the poor children have a better life by giving them pearls? Pearls mean peace, education, aspiration, respect, love, and smiles through education, empowerment, nutrition, nourishment, and healthcare. Please, tell us.
Thank you very much. The South African Embassy with Project Pearls has been in existence for several years now. And our focus with the Project Pearl has been on issues of medical missions, education, women and youth empowerment, nutrition, etc. South Africa and the Philippines have many similarities than differences in terms of developmental challenges. United Nations Sustainable Development Goals clearly shows that if we can be able to work together, we can be able to share that. We have found that in Project Pearls, we can be able to project what Nelson Mandela stood for. Countries of Global South are poor with non-existence of public infrastructure due to colonial legacies and economic system, which is subservient to the Global North and rich countries.
Yes.
The work that we are doing with Project Pearl seeks to address these issues at local levels. And we've also engaged corporate Philippines and other non-state actors, such as embassies, to lend a helping hand. Today, we are privileged to have hosted the Tondo Project Pearl contribution from South African companies here. Netcares, other South African companies are here. There are Goldfields that were here. And we were able to host today, we're privileged to have collaborated with the ambassador of Nigeria, who came with the basic needs and joined us in Project Pearl. We think we can be able to elevate it further. We have issued today the food parcels. We've delivered almost 400 kg of rice, good quality rice. We have provided today with your toothpaste, your face mask, and everything to the 300 children at Project Pearl today. We think we can be able. We have elaborated and spoke to BRICS countries in Philippines. The Embassy of China will deliver some of its goods between today, because Nelson Mandela Week starts from today till Friday. They will be able to deliver some of the goods to the Project Pearl. So we will be able to update our website of what they deliver on. We are indeed engaging other African countries that are here. of what we can do on Nelson Mandela in 2023. We want to also engage all the Indian ambassador has shown interest, but because he was traveling, we have indicated to him that next year we can collaborate. As I've said it, we are looking at the BRICS countries of what we can do in Philippines on the National Day, on Nelson Mandela International Day. We've also engaged, as I've said it, the embassies to check what is it that they can do on this 67 minutes of Nelson Mandela Day.
Mm-hmm. The Nelson Mandela Foundation is also focused on promoting community and home-based gardens, supporting fruit and indigenous tree planting, creating awareness of intersections between food security and climate change. This is very progressive initiative which promotes economically sustainable means. Can you tell us more about these activities?
Yes, it's very important because, as you know, we also are following through with the theme of the African Union. Mm-hmm. The theme of African Union in 2022 says the year of nutrition. So that is the basis for us, is that while we're looking at the nutrition, what is it we mean? As mentioned before, we need to deal with issues of climate change, as said, by building resilience, both in nutrition and food securities. This is important on strengthening food security systems in the field of agriculture, health and social protection system in order to accelerate human, social and economic capital development. This resonates well with Nelson Mandela theme, do what you can with what you have, wherever you are. And of course, as part of AU long-term vision set out in Agenda 2063, where programs such as Nelson Mandela International Day make us to introspect and conscientize us while we look at sustainable goals issues and how we can well nourish citizens in good health and emphasis on women, girl, child, who are at the most vulnerable members. So human capital is key for development as it improves lives of individuals. At the center of foundation philosophy is a commitment and advancement of peace, which remains a precondition for sustainable development and human progress.
Tell us, Your Excellency, please tell us how the example of Nelson Mandela can be aligned to the Philippine situation. What lessons must be learned from his story and his love for South Africa?
Thank you. South Africa is a diverse, multicultural country. I've said it before, we are the only country in Africa that has got almost close to 4 million white South Africans. Mm-hmm. We have close to 4 million people of Indian descent who come from India in the 60th centuries. Mm-hmm. I've said it today. We also have Filipinos. We have got a barangay in Cape Town in one of our provinces called Kalk Bay. Mm-hmm. That is a community, 80% of Filipinos who came through the 16th centuries as merchants who work on the ship merchant at that time. They have now found South Africa as the 10th or 20th generation. They know no other country except South Africa. That is what makes South Africa relevant. And that is what anchors our constitution and our value systems. It is anchored on those things that we are such a diverse nation. We are 60 million nations, which has got so much diverse, both in terms of culture, ethnicity, and in terms of Ubuntu, what we call it, the spirit of togetherness. Yes. So I think the lessons that South Africa and the Philippines can share, particularly on cherishing ideas of caring society, in believing in selfless sacrifices for the betterment of human condition. Filipinos are loving, giving, and passionate people in whatever they do. So already elements of the meaning of Nelson Mandela already inculcated in the Filipino people. For us as South Africa, a celebration of Nelson Mandela life during the 18th of July each year demands of us to put a spotlight on these developmental and global political issues. Mm-hmm. Both countries are equally battling with issues of post-colonization, triple challenges such as poverty, inequality, and underdevelopment. And as such, we can be able to use our common experience to increase diplomatic bilateral meaningfully by evaluating at each other's comparative advantage and elevate it by increasing more cooperation and collaboration, which can be beneficiary to both of our countries. South Africa continues to regard Filipino as a friend and continue to collaborate on international forum and support each other candidatures when it is necessary. We're looking forward to elevate the cooperation to higher levels under the new administration by increasing bilateral trade between the two nations, including cultural exchange, defense technology, person-to-person exchange, and etc. Salamat.
Salamat po. It's been wonderful discussing and commemorating Mandela Day with you, Your Excellency. A happy and meaningful celebration to all. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Angels.
Let's continue to learn from our leaders, whether they be from here or outside our country, as our countries have common experience. Thank you very much, Your
Yes, salamat.
Excellency.
Salamat.
Salamat po.
Oh, yes.